You're right. Noah Vortex here. Today I thought I'd talk a bit about um, being an artist in the broadest sense of the word. So I've been an artist now for I would have called myself an artist since I was about 22. So I'm 31 now. So it's basically 10 years. 21 really. But I thought I'd just talk a little bit about experiences over that time, things I've learnt, mistakes I've made, my general experience of being an artist and the struggles that come with that, the joys, etc., etc. So, generally, I'll just do it. I'm going to try and keep this quite short. So, if you're a younger person, you're wanting to pursue a career in art, these are a few things that I would say. A lot of them are very obvious, but it's going to be a struggle at first, probably, unless you're ridiculously lucky. Even if you've done a degree course, whatever, it's going to be a struggle financially. Even with family members sometimes, and other people will want to dissuade you from doing your art in whatever form that takes. It will be a struggle. I mean, like even now, I'm 31 now, but even I've still struggling with money. Relative degrees of poverty. It's not poverty really, it's just more like struggling with money. So most of my art's been painting, some digital, but even then, and I've done alright with the painting. Like I've sold, even in the last year, I think I've sold about 4 or 5 things. You're talking a few £100 every time. So get a lot of friends who are interested in similar styles of art or similar. You need to find a community. Community is important as an artist, to find people who are into the similar ideas. Like so for myself, I've joined the Tunnel, or created the Tunnel, which is an art group based in London while I was in London for 2 years. London for 2 years, I was there for 2 years. It's good to locate yourself in a centre of art like that. I left eventually just because of money. So I was working full time. I'd also say as well, get a trade that you can trade in so that you can do your work. And I think it's probably quite important if you want to keep your own voice, as it were, and not pander potentially to what the market wants per se, which basically I think leaves you to be a more free artist and have more of your own voice, I'd say. Not in all cases, but a lot of the time. Get a trade. I mean, like for me, I do web design, a bit of content writing and stuff, and I find that helps just with the bills and stuff. Obviously, so if you want to be a painter, there are ways of being, like a full-time painter, so you can make enough to get by off it. But it takes a lot of pushing. Social media is very important these days. Having a website, knowing how to market yourself. That's something I'm still experimenting with. My art website's at chriscopperart.uk, but I'm constantly reinventing it, trying to update all the content, push things on social media. I would say most of the way that people have found or made sales have been through social media, really. People seeing my work, liking it, inquiring with me, is that painting for sale? That's usually the way that I've done it these days. Obviously, you've got the gallery system you can work with. I've still not found the golden way to deal with that. I've been involved with galleries and project spaces, mostly project spaces when I was in London. So I had a solo show in a project space at my studios. That really came from having contacts within the studio network, and then the people who run that studio offering me the project space. So that's nothing. You just network in the way that you want, I think. Obviously, some people will say just like network with everybody, but a lot of it's about finding. If you're looking for a gallery, is to find a gallery that suits your style of work and your philosophy, I suppose, of work. I'd say probably don't spam loads of galleries with your work. Find one that has work that you have some kind of like aesthetically is similar, or philosophically the work is similar to your own, and try that. But I'd say before you go and spam them with loads of work, try and establish go to a few of their shows, see what they're all about, try and establish friendships, or even if it's just a acquaintance, and then at least you've got like a way in then to create a discussion. I think galleries don't really like it if you just send them loads of images of your work and stuff. Build up a bit of group show, past exhibitions that you've done, mostly group shows, solo shows if you can get them. Like I for myself have had 3 solo shows over the 10 years. One which is like basically a solo show, but it was with another artist. It was kind of a collaborative show. So I've had one group solo show in London, and a few up north as well. Established working spaces and relationships as well. A lot of art these days, I think it's useful to do things yourself, DIY, kind of punk rock. That's how I see it. It's coming more with the prevalence of there being a lot more free space, just the nature of commercialisation of properties, looking to taking over disused spaces and stuff. It's been going on for years, decades really, but that's a very important thing to do now, just to get your stuff out there. And get your stuff out there, that's a really important thing. Don't let it just rot away. I mean, at the minute, I'm in a kind of flux with all my work, because it's in 2 different places, well, scattered all over the place. I've still got a studio, but yeah, my work's scattered around a lot, so it's something I'm trying to reboot in the new year. Basically, is getting out there, getting shows, getting seen. Contribute to theory if that's your thing, as in like writing about art. I mean, if you're a painter, just paint and try and be active. Like I'm not enough at the minute just because of circumstance, basically. Like I'm having to try with all my money and stuff and trying to regroup financially, get myself in a secure position again, and then I'm still sketching quite a lot. And if you're not painting, do a lot of proprietary sketches, keep your hand in it. That helps so that you can almost develop like a fear if you go a few months without painting or drawing, I think, of the canvas or the paper. So do that. Yeah, like I said, networking, social media, just make that quite focused, hashtags, etc. for whatever style of work you do, I suppose. Network with others. There's a lot of like artist platforms online now, which are quite good. Like Artfinder is quite a good one. I've got a friend who basically she makes most of her money from selling her artwork and then doing workshops as well. The art co-op that I was involved in a while ago, and so you can do it, but it does take a lot of work. The thing that I'm trying to figure out more now is marketing. Like I have no problem producing work. If anything, I'm quite prolific. But marketing yourself is quite difficult. So yeah, just think about how to do that. Get a nice website. Get a good, decent idea of what your overall philosophy or aesthetic or kind of what your concerns are as an artist. Put it out there. Get responses. Good, bad responses. Any response is good, basically. Yeah, like I said, get used. Don't expect to become an artist and then suddenly become really successful as well. Because if you are doing that anyway, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. If you're in it purely just to make money, the ideal obviously is to make money and do what you love. I think that's a reason a lot of us are obsessed with art. That's the dream. Yeah, I mean, and don't resist. Don't be put off, I guess, by the initial struggles that you will invariably have. You'll probably, like a lot of people, will leave university with an arts degree and then probably, you might have to go into doing like a shitty office job that you hate, or work in Starbucks or something. Obviously, there's other paths than that. A lot of people can go into arts administration, which is probably a more interesting path, or arts gallery administration, etc. But yeah, I mean, the way I approach this, because I'm self-taught as well, so never studied at university. I just painted obsessively for a few years, got involved with studios, got involved with a group, so we created our own co-op, started putting on shows, having lots of artistic goings on. Moved to London for a few years after that, got quite ingrained in the East End scene in London. From that I kind of got more links with other artists who are doing interesting work and curators. So I have semi-regular group shows in London now because of that, with the tunnel. So I'm working with a bunch of interesting artists, doing what I love, which is great. Establish relationships with artistic organisations that might take time sometimes, but it's worth doing. Website, and market yourself. Figure out what you're about, which takes time, and also recognise and accept that it takes time to become a successful artist. Most artists don't even make much of a sniff of money until the age of 35, 40 usually. So, I mean, obviously there's exceptions to that rule, but generally speaking, and just experiment, have fun. I mean, like, that process is even still ongoing for me. I mean, doing this for 10 years now, and I'm still constantly reinventing myself, reinventing my work, reinventing my perspectives, changing perspectives in terms of like perspectives of what I'm trying to do with my art, and yeah, just experiment, have fun, market yourself, try and sell a little bit at least, and sometimes you can find that golden mean of production and being able to make enough money to live off it as well. I'm still searching for that golden mean myself, and a lot of people I know are other artists. You can get there, it's possible. A lot of it's just about being pushing it a lot. I mean, I'm unlucky in the sense that I'm not naturally charming. I'm quite an awkward and introverted person, and which is probably true of a lot of artists, I think. So, but if you are introverted, I mean, I can do this a bit now. Learn extroversion a bit more, or learn how to talk to people a bit better, or talk to people. Basically, try and learn how to fake being an extrovert, and that might help a bit. So yeah, and that's kind of my thoughts on 10 years of being an artist, what I've learned. Here's one thing actually, because I've learned this from experience, and it was a difficult learning experience. I'm still kind of feeling the ripples of it still. So basically, like a year and a half ago as well, I was in a pretty stable, well-paid job where I could remote work a lot. As a computer job basically. But quite naively, I wanted to pursue my art more. I wasn't getting enough time doing my art, I felt. So I really wanted to, I thought, well, you know what, I've got a little bit of money saved up. Let's go for it, let's do it. I'll just sod it off. I'll start making money in a few months, I'm sure, after I'm painting enough to just get by. Big mistake. Big mistake. What happened then, I ended up basically drifting around for a few months. It was fun, yeah, sure, for the first few months I could paint loads and basically do what I wanted, but then that all eventually led to me leaving the city I was in and go back to my parents for a bit because I just ran out of money. I hemorrhaged it. So if you're going to do that, like go for the full, artist full time. Make sure you got a plan. Whether you're marketing, social media. Make sure you got money saved up because it won't be easy at first. It is possible to do it. People have done it. I just kind of did it at the wrong time. I didn't really plan anything, so it kind of all blew up in my face, really. I mean, I still sold 1 or 2 paintings, but nowhere near enough to make rent, bills, so it all kind of went shit. So yeah, that would be my advice. Just if you're going to go all out as a full-time artist, and you're in a secure full-time or part-time job, instead of just like quitting that quite abruptly, have a plan before you do that quitting abruptly, if that's what you're thinking, because otherwise you'll end up in the position I ended up with, which I still am impartially, of having certain debts that you have to pay off, and basically it kind of having a snowball effect on other aspects of your life. And like I said, I still sell, so I'm still struggling even though I sell occasionally. So I'll leave it at that. That's my advice for younger artists and artists, probably, whoever, artists in general. And yeah, just keep cracking at it. Yeah. I hope that's been useful in some way. I know it's 14 minutes long. I don't realise how long I talked for, but yeah.